Hi there. Okay. In this video today, sorry, that's myself there. Geez, seems a little egotistical putting a big picture of myself up on there. But anyway, I figured for those who are going to watch this video, you might want to know who's behind the voice behind the video. So anyway, enough of that. In this particular video, I'm going to cover off a bit of both of these. So a bit of SEO and a bit of website design, but mostly in the digital marketing space. And the things that I'll cover off are on the next slide. Oops. So we'll cover off Google My Business and the setups and things around that, some hints and tips, user experience, on-site SEO, off-site SEO, general Google properties, and just a bit of online marketing resources. All right, so let's jump out of that and bring up the screen that I'm going to use to work through things. Okay, so first is Google My Business. So the important, I won't go into setting up a Google My Business because that's pretty easy. You just Google My Business and you can set it up through on a desktop like that, or on an application. You can use the Google My Business application to set it up with your Android device or your iPhone device. Anyway, let's cover off the important aspects of setting up your Google My Business properly. There's a three-letter acronym for that. It's called NAP. NAP stands for name, address, and phone number. Those are the three critical things that you need when you set up your Google My Business. So besides setting up all of the rest of the information, you always want to keep your name. The NAP, the first name stands for, well, the name is making sure your business name is consistent wherever you set it up. In our case, I'm operating as under a company, but we've just gone for the name Web Design Hosting. So you could go Web Design Hosting Pty Ltd. If you did Pty Ltd with your business name, then every single place that you go and set up your digital properties, so digital properties can be your social networking sites like your Twitters and your Facebooks and all of those. Or it could be on your citations, which are like directory listing sites like Yelp, Hotfrog, Gumtree. Those are directory listing sites. Wherever you set up your website, your name, your business name, and your address and your phone number, always use the same information. Name, address, phone must always be the same. And that's what helps to get you some rankings. This business is the web design hosting business is grown off the back of top SEO pages, so it's a little bit new, this business entity. But in saying that, the address is also very new. But if you look at the website, you will see that the contact number, the contact address, address, and the contact names or the business names are always web design and hosting. We haven't gone web design and hosting Pty Ltd. We've just gone web design hosting. By throwing on the word Perth at the end, it actually doesn't make an impact in this instance. But if your company was, say, let's just pick any example. I'll pick barbecue and oven cleaning as an example, because that's a client of mine who's happy for me to share his information. Then you would stick with barbecue oven cleaning. So you'd go barbecue and oven cleaning. You know, if it's with an ampersand sign, then you always use the ampersand sign. And as you can see, you just stay consistent with that. Let's move on to user experience and conversion tools. So important things that you want to do on your website is make sure that you've got a lot of click to calls, click to email, click to chat, social properties, and I haven't fully loaded this page properly yet, so let me just refresh that so you can see that, because you want to actually cater for the different demographics of aged people. So you want to cater for the older folk who like to get on a phone call. I should plug out, that's the problem. Who like to get on the phone and make a phone call and speak to someone. You want to cater for the It's a little bit annoying. Younger folk who like to click to chat and click to text and all of that. So these sort of tools, having these sort of tools around for both age group demographic sort of folk is going to work in your favor to help increase your conversions. And you want to then keep things simple, good imagery, chunk of data, summarize things, keep it all consistent with the same coloring and branding. What else? You want to display your credibility, brands you're affiliated with, chunk data like I mentioned, provide meaningful and useful information for people to use, and then just make it easy for them to browse around and reach out to you. Always have a good deep footer that pretty much shows as much information and clickable contact information as possible, as you can see here. So that kind of covers off the conversion tools and building trust and simplifying things. Next is the on-site SEO. So the on-site SEO covers pretty much like your metadata. And what is metadata? Okay, so the on-site SEO is actually basically what you want to do is the first thing is identify what keywords you're going to use in the content on every page. Right, so a great tool that you can utilize for the keywords is a tool called Keywords Everywhere. So you install this Chrome extension, and then what it does is when you do a search for whatever keyword you're looking for to test out how main keyword for your niche industry, to test and find out how much search volume it's got, what its cost is, and how much competition it's got. This tool gives you all of that information. So as you can see here, website design and hosting, the search volume of 40, costs almost $30, so it's pretty expensive. And competition 0.63 means it's the closer you get to 1, the more competitive. So it's a fairly competitive keyword. And then the tool's very good in that it gives you a lot of other sort of related keywords that you can utilize. And yeah, and that's pretty much that. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, it's metadata. That's what I was going to get to. This is on top SEO pages. Yeah, so this is one of them. It's my older site. The other site's a new site. So this is a good example because it's all been done years ago. Okay, so you'll want to always put an SEO title, an SEO description, and then SEO keywords. So you'll normally put this information in within the tool that you install. So it'll be a plugin like All-in-One SEO or Yoast, or there's others, but those are the main two that are in the industry that you should be utilizing or considering to utilize. So you apply that metadata, and then you do that for not only the pages and for your posts, but you also apply for your media. Media is very important to apply metadata as well. So the metadata you'd put in is much the same. So pick an image. Let's just go pick any one of these images, and you'll put in an alt text, a title. You don't have to put in a caption, and you'll put in a description. All of this actual information that I've just mentioned is you can find and watch and review some videos on my website, on the Top SEO Pages website, but I'm skimming through it now. So that covers off the metadata for both images and for the content itself. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure your site is loading quickly. So you want to run it through GTmetrix, try and get your speed down to about 3 seconds, and then this tool gives you the opportunity to go and address whatever issues there are. It's really just a case of taking each issue and finding out what it is and going and resolving it. It's not majorly complex. Well, some of it's pretty complex, but there's a good deal you can do yourself. And then you also want to do Google the page speed insights, Google page speed insights, and that's a lot tougher. It's a very tricky one to get high score on, because it is pretty critical your website, and its metrics are pretty aggressive. Okay, so that kind of covers off all of that. And then the other thing that's more specialist is the schema markup. So the schema markup, I'll pick this as an example, is where you're able to apply star ratings and information about your business, so that when you do a search, it'll come up with that information. If you're ranking towards the top, it'll come up with useful information around the services you provide. Actually, I've got a good one for you. Yeah, there's a good one. Let's go things to do in Perth. So this is like your schema markup, this additional information that you get around the search results. So if you can get, additional information loading up on your site, it gives you more digital space to be able to rank and get clients and conversions. Alright, so that covers off that. That's all on site. Alright, let's move on to the off site. So the off site, just move this way. The off site side of things is things that are not on the website itself. So that'll be your, like I mentioned earlier, your directory listings. So that'll be like your Yelps and things. So let's go with Carpeting Perth again. So that was, like I mentioned before, OneFlare is a directory listing site. Gumtree's directory listing site. Yelp's directory listing site. Hotfrog's directory listing site. So those are the citation / directory listing sites. They're great places to be creating a profile and helping your Google My Business rank as well as your website rank. You want to also do the same with your socials, create a whole lot of socials. And then the more advanced offsite would be doing guest blogs. So guest blog would be, let's say you could contact one of your competitors. So let's say you're in the cleaning industry, you could go to Pride Carpet Cleaning and go, hey, I know you're a competitor of mine, but you operate ethically in a good, decent business, and I'd like to see if we could create an opportunity between the two of us to help each other rank higher in Google by writing a blog post about each other. And then you just create a link between your sites. Google absolutely loves that. Loves it because it's a niche relevant site in the same location as you are. So it gives it a lot more authority and it gives it a lot more ranking power. Alright, so that kind of covers off everything. Last thing you'd want to do is you want to make sure that you set up your Google your Google Search Console, which is your Google Webmasters, and your Google Analytics. Set those up and get them set up onto your website, or integrated into your website, and vice versa, because at the end of the day you can get some very meaningful information out of Google My Business. So let's where was the one I had before? So for example, you install a Google Analytics plugin onto your website, and then you just authorize that plugin, and that will give you some really good analytics information around your website. I mean, this is just a simple dashboard, but I'll show you some information that's pretty useful. So as you can see here, I started ranking really well before I left my full-time day job, and then things were just getting too busy with calls and stuff, so I put my site under penalty just to test out things and get rid of my rankings. And then never got to touch it again until October or November last year, where you can see it's now rocketing up, back up to where it should be. So there's lots of awesome information. So bounce rate, that's how long it takes, how long a person's on your website. Well, that would be session duration and time on page. So those are the numbers that show you how long they're there. The longer they're on your site, the better it is. The more they click around, the better it is. And the quicker they come to your site and leave, creates a higher bounce rate. So you want to get your bounce rate as low as possible. That's a really good bounce rate. It means that people are staying on your site and reading the content and engaging with your website. And that's a very, very important, well-loved Google thing, metric. Geez, that kind of covers off everything that at a very high level for Google My Business, SEO on site and SEO off site. And the last thing I will bring up is in this tough period with COVID-19, a lot of businesses are looking to go online and use online resources. So if you're looking to market your niche relevant content and services online or products online, a great resource for that is like ClickBank, where you can go and search up the whatever it is that you market or sell or advertise, find relevant products or services, and then you can either purchase them, or you can then purchase those and white label them as your products. And that's a way of getting out good quality content that you feel people can use and trust, and that works well with your business and your brand. That's if you don't have the content yourself. It's just another way of obtaining content that you can purchase and repurpose for your use, which is all legal, and there's no restrictions or issues there because you're buying the white label license rights. So that's just that's pretty much everything. I'm sure there'll be questions that may come about from after this. So if you do have any questions or would like to get more information or some assistance with some of this stuff, feel free to reach out to me through my website or through one of our social platforms. That's pretty much me. Over and out. Thank you very much.